The doors of your car will close automatically. Please keep your head and arms inside and remain seated at all times. And please, no smoking. Thank you.
Matterhorn Matt presents Matterhorn Mondays.
Welcome to episode 45 of Matterhorn Mondays. I am Matterhorn Matt.
And I'm Alex the Historian.
I almost forgot what to say just there. That would have been really awkward. But anyways.
Yeah, it sounded kind of awkward. Like it didn't really flow together.
Yeah, well, I didn't think anyone would be able to notice, but I guess if Alex noticed it, then everyone else surely noticed it. But peach is another good flavor, Jeremy. Talking about our favorite Snapple flavors, as always. But yeah, 12 people watching. Thank you all for being here. Means a lot to us. We got a really great episode planned for you guys. But before we get into any of the topics, I want to make a couple, I guess, sort of announcements. A couple little... yeah, I guess announcements would be the right word. Couple announcements before we get into the actual topics. Alex, if any of you guys haven't seen Alex's latest video, Alex, for those who haven't seen it, why don't you go ahead and explain what your latest video is about and what the future of your channel is going to be.
Sure. Well, sadly, for those who've seen it, they've felt very sad about it. But for those who haven't seen it, basically my channel itself is coming to an end, and it's for many different reasons, actually. You know, even my dad, he texted me today and he was like, "Are you insane?" So I was like pretty surprised at how many people responded. Like, there was just a lot. But basically it has to do with like the fact that I can't really come up with enough content for people. It's been really difficult to find content because, you know, what I do is vlogs, and vlogs are fine, but vlogs alone aren't enough to keep my viewers entertained and keep the subscriptions coming. So, you know, like people don't subscribe to a channel when, you know, when there's not much going on. And so so there's that. And then there's the fact that basically it's also hard for me to deliver really good quality videos because I'm only a historian. I'm not much of a video maker. I'm not much of a YouTuber. I'm not even very good with computers, really. And so, like, my vlogs themselves, I've been very disappointed with how they've been coming out because the editing is so poor. And to be honest, I don't really have an interest in editing. And so, you know, it's me doing my own videos and making my own videos is just not really working out. And so my popularity has been declining. And so basically, you know, the future of my channel has been, you know, kind of winking out like a candle that's about to go out. And so I kind of thought, like, well, I don't want to stop doing nice sunglasses. I don't want to stop making vlogs. I love vlogging at Disneyland. I love going to Disneyland and talking about things I'm doing and stuff like that, and you know, and just exploring the park. And so I love making vlogs. And so I thought, well, why don't I ask Matt if, you know, if I could do vlogs for him, because his channel is on the up and up. It's growing. He's still got a lot of content to give out. He's, you know, he's this new fresh face when it comes to YouTube, and his videos are absolutely amazing. I mean, you know, it surpasses the quality of even the most popular YouTubers out there that are doing Disney stuff. And so it's just like, you know, his videos are really growing. And I thought, like, well, that's really cool. Like, you know, I wish I could be a part of that in some way, shape, or form, because, you know, like, he's got such great quality stuff, and I've got a lot of knowledge that is really going nowhere. It just kind of sits in my head. So I thought, well, it'd be kind of cool if I could do vlogs for him, because he really needs, vlogs, on his channel, and he's in New Mexico, so he can't go to Disneyland every week like I do. So, and I just kind of thought that, I don't know, maybe like the combination of our personalities and our touch when it comes to like making videos and how we film them and stuff like that. I thought like maybe the combination of us both would be kind of really cool, and it would help me stay relevant as well as help his channel out with vlogs. So anyway, so my future is going to be on Matt's channel, making vlogs for him, and then of course I'll still be doing podcasts with him, and maybe even once in a while I might write an episode of Historyland or something. Like, maybe it depends on what I have to give. I'm not as much of a writer as Jeremy is, so Jeremy's stuff is like magical. But
It's true.
It's like gold when it comes, off the pencil and onto the writing pad. So, yeah. So I don't know what else to say to that, but I know a lot of people are really sad that my channel is coming to an end. But yeah. I'm sorry. I have to get the front door. Someone's knocking.
That's okay.
Sorry.
So, yeah, as Alex said, Alex's channel is sadly coming to an end. He will be, I guess, moving over to my channel, sort of. He's gonna be filming vlogs for me because, like he said, I live in New Mexico. I can't make it down to Disneyland as often as I'd like to be able to film vlogs and make content there for you guys. So, and since he lives in Southern California and has an annual pass, he, of course, has the amazing opportunity to be able to visit almost whenever he wants. And yeah, so Alex, very sad to see his channel go, but very excited to see what the future of both of our, I guess, sort of like collaboration will bring to, and we'll bring to the channel. So yeah, that's that for that. I don't think I have to wait for Alex to get back for the next couple of announcements, but the next announcement I have, oh, and by the way, the dab, someone dared me to do a dab in my live stream like Dallin did, so that's what that was. It was kind of out of place, but anyways, moving on from that. Next bit of announcement, I said this last week, I'm going to keep saying it. Well, I guess this will be the last week that I'm going to say this, but Alex and I are having a meetup July 20th at 10:30 a.m. in the lobby of the Grand Californian Hotel. Yeah, so if you guys want to meet Alex and I or a couple of other YouTubers, I know LMG Vids will probably be there. Second Star will be there as well. Both have amazing channels. LMG Vids does ride-throughs. Really awesome. Almost some of the best ride-throughs of Disney attractions there are on YouTube.
He's got really good videos.
Yeah, I really wish I could have access to the same kind of camera equipment he has, but it's very expensive. And then Second Star has really awesome Disney history videos, sort of like a twist on Disney. I know he mixes like jazz music into it. But yeah, both of those amazing YouTubers will be there, as well as Alex and I. So if you guys want to come down, meet us, get some lunch with us at Downtown Disney. And let's see, the buttons did actually come in on time. I just wanted to show you guys what they look like. If you do manage to make it down to meet Alex and I, you will be getting one of these sweet buttons from one of us. They came out kind of smaller than I thought, but this one is of, let me hold it straight. This one is of Alex's logo. Yeah, very, very tiny. That's okay though. And then mine's not as good as Alex's. It's just my logo with a blue background, but that's okay. So yeah, if you guys want to come down, meet Alex and I, like I said, get some lunch. We will be hanging out in the lobby of the Grand Californian Hotel on July 20th at 10:30 a.m. And yeah, speaking of also July 20th at 10:30 a.m., there will be no stream next Saturday because I will be still in California. So Alex and I have decided to do a live stream podcast recording inside Disneyland. Well, not inside Disneyland, but we will be doing a live stream of Matterhorn Mondays from the lobby of, from the lobby of the Disneyland Hotel on the 20th, July 20th as well. Put this down. So yeah, no live stream next week, but there will still be a podcast next week. And I'm still trying to work out how we're going to end up doing the live stream on Saturday. I will update you guys on all of that stuff on Twitter or on the Discord server if any updates come, but yeah, so expect no live stream on Saturday. And another bit of another announcement that I have. You guys, have you ever wanted to buy one of my t-shirts from my Teespring? But have you ever thought to yourself, oh man, I just spent all my money on Snapple. I don't have enough to buy Matterhorn Matt's t-shirts. Well, lucky for you, if you use the code Matterhorn in checkout, you will get 10% off any purchase of any t-shirts that I have on my shop. Link will be in the description down below. Again, that is Matterhorn in all caps. Yeah, I came out with a new shirt. I believe it was last week. I think it came out pretty good. So yeah, if you guys want to check that out, go ahead and check that out. Oh, I should have... Figment said to use code Snapple. That would have been better than code Matterhorn. But anyways, yeah, guys, 10% off my any purchase of my t-shirts.
The shirts are really cool.
Yeah, and they feel really nice too. They're very silky smooth.
Yeah, I have one and it's super soft. I just like to rub my face against it.
And I also did actually buy a shirt for myself. I know a lot of you guys were sad that I didn't own any of my own merch when I talked about this a couple months ago, I think, but I actually do have one of my own t-shirts now. I will be wearing that in the parks when I go this week. So yeah, if you guys want to check that out, like I said, link in the description, code Matterhorn in all caps. And moving on to another small little announcement. I want to know what you guys thought of the latest episode of Historyland, because on Space Mountain, that is, because Jeremy and I did put a lot of work into that one, working until the very last second, editing, getting everything scrubbed nice and perfect for all of you guys. But yeah, I do want to know what you guys think of that episode. And I also want to know what you guys think of the last commentary track that Jeremy and I did on the Pirates of the Caribbean episode, because we will be recording one of those for the Space Mountain episode. It will be releasing next Friday. I want to know what you guys think on those as well, because we didn't really know what we were doing when we went into recording the commentary track on Pirates of the Caribbean. But if you guys have any suggestions or anything you'd like us to talk about in the commentary track, definitely let us know. Comment down below. Comment in chat if you want. But yeah, I want to know your thoughts, your guys' thoughts on both of those things. And I think that's going to wrap up these announcements. Wow, 12 minutes of announcements. That was longer than I thought it'd be. But anyways, moving on to recent Disney news. Let's see. Let me get these tabs ready. First bit of Disney news, Disney pushes back the Indiana Jones 4, or is it 5? Indiana Jones, I think it's 5. The 5th Indiana Jones movie has been pushed back, along with a couple of other Disney movies. Release dates have been changed. The Indiana Jones movie will be released in summer of 2021 instead of the summer of 2020. The Jungle Cruise movie, this is an interesting one. Everyone's saying Indiana Jones 5. Thank you. The Jungle Cruise movie starring The Rock will be releasing, at this moment in time, it will be releasing October 11th of 2019. So that's a year from now. That's kind of weird. I didn't actually think that movie was actually a thing, but I guess it is. So we'll see how that turns out. Maleficent 2 will be in theaters May 29th of 2020. I know Alex is a big fan of the first Maleficent.
They're making a second one?
Yeah, I had the same reaction as you did. I don't know how they could go from the first one though. It's kind of weird, but hopefully it'll be good. Same exact reaction I had. And last but not least, Mary Poppins Returns moved from December 25th, Christmas Day, to December 19th, not Christmas Day. So yeah, that's that. And then Ant-Man and the Wasp, opening weekend earned $76 million. That's a lot of money. I think that might be more than what Solo made in his first week of opening. I think Solo made 50 million, or was it 500 million? I can't remember. I don't really care about Solo. But yeah. And last but not least, did you guys know they're making a Cruella de Vil origin story movie? Apparently, production for that movie will begin at the end of this year. I had no idea this was happening. Yeah, this was the first I've heard of it when I seen it on the DSMY Newscast's website. Yeah, so the mini synopsis we have here is: Estella Cruella de Vil lives on the streets of 1970s London with other hoodlums, while we learn the real origins behind Estella's hatred of Dalmatians. Don't really know what the heck that is going to be, but apparently Emma Stone is going to be playing Cruella de Vil. I'm a big fan of Emma Stone. She was in La La Land. Great movie, but I'm not really sure what the heck this movie is, or if it's going to be good or not. Probably not, but I mean, who doesn't love Cruella de Vil? She's one of the fun Disney villains. Yeah, didn't know.
So basically, everyone be aware that there's going to be a lot of crud coming out from Disney lately. In the next couple of years.
Yes. Nutcracker in the Four Realms too. I think that comes out Thanksgiving, and we haven't even gotten a trailer for it. Mary Poppins, of course. Christopher Robin is coming out in 2 to 3 weeks, I believe. I'm sure Christopher Robin will be fine. Mary Poppins Returns, I'm kind of iffy on. But Nutcracker in the Four Realms, I don't know what the heck Disney's thinking. Nutcracker and the Four Realms. I mean, if it's anything like, well, I didn't see their latest movie. What was their latest movie based on that one book? A Wrinkle in Time. I didn't see A Wrinkle in Time, but apparently it was not very good. So if it's anything like that, then I will not be seeing Nutcracker in the Four Realms. But anyways, I want to know if you guys have seen... That's not the right web or monitor. Have you guys seen this? These two people, Ben and Kylie, living in Central Florida, they got married. In Walt Disney World, and the groom, Ben, wore this amazing suit of the map of the Magic Kingdom. I mean, this isn't really Disney news. I just felt like bringing this up because of how cute this is. I want a suit like this. I want a suit made that looks like the map of the Magic Kingdom. That is like amazing, but. Yeah, I don't know if you guys had seen that, but anyways, moving on from that very short topic, we are going to be talking about Disney's pay to their workers in relation to what has been happening recently in the news regarding all of that stuff. Alex is going to be filling us in on all of that because I don't really have any idea as to what this is, so I will be learning as well as you guys. So Alex, why don't you take it away?
Well, it's no secret now that Disney really doesn't pay its workers very well. I mean, it's a really sad thing, but a lot of big companies do this, and Disney is just another one of them. So I'm not saying that Disney is like, oh, they're the only company that does this. No, everybody does this. But the difference is that Disney claims to care a lot about its employees, or otherwise known as cast members. Disney claims to take good care of their cast members and makes all these claims that, you know, when you work for the Disney company, you're really part of like a big family. Well, the thing is that it's hard to feel this way when you're being paid minimum wage for a job that is, quite frankly, you know, more than just a minimum wage job.
Yeah.
It's one thing to be like, you know, you're 17 and you're starting off as like a greeter at Disneyland, or like you're doing like a minimum wage job, like, you know, I don't know, like you're working in what's it called? Custodial department, you know.
Yeah.
That's like something that starts off minimum wage. But the problem here isn't necessarily that Sam the Griff says chill on that Snapple.
I can't stop drinking it. It's so good. It's going to be gone within the next 20 minutes.
But the problem here is that Disney doesn't have any kind of plans in place to raise people's their wages over time. So right now, like for a lot of food workers, the deal is that you get a 3% raise every year. 3% honestly doesn't amount to much. It amounts to like maybe like a nickel in pay, honestly, for every hour. It's not much, and it's actually really sad. So the problem is that Disney isn't paying people wages that make sense with the economy. And Disney can, in fact, afford to do this. And so the question that people are bringing up is, why isn't Disney doing this? Why aren't they taking the responsibility to do what they should be doing, which is to pay people according to, first of all, according to what they're qualified for? Because I mean, let me tell you, you can work at Disney after getting your degree in business management, but Disney is not gonna pay you for your degree. They're gonna pay you like they pay everyone else who doesn't have a degree. That's a major problem. So I've heard a lot of people that say like, oh, this isn't Disney's fault. You know, it's your fault if you accept the job and you don't really, and you know the job doesn't really pay that much. Well, you see, that's a really backwards way of thinking about it. You see, yes, you are working for a company, but that company has a responsibility to pay you what you are worth. When the company pays you so little that it's not even close to a living wage, they're saying that you are not worth it.
And I just want to say, minimum wage in California, I wrote down a couple little bullet points. Minimum wage in California currently is $11 an hour. And according to a website on Google, I don't remember the name of the website, the living wage in California is around $10.50 and is expected to go up to a full-blown $11 next year. But Alex, go ahead and continue.
Yeah, so I mean, the biggest problem with that is, even though, you know, minimum wage is $11, which is higher than a lot of other states and things like that, it's actually a problem because what it costs to live out here is at least $15 an hour, which is significantly more. I mean, if you really want to live out here comfortably, and you're, let's say, by yourself, and you're getting like a small studio apartment, and you got to pay for your food, and you got to pay for your car and your gas and your insurance and whatever, and you know, health care premiums, all that, you got to be earning at least $15 an hour in order to afford all of that. And so that's the problem, is that Disney doesn't offer jobs for people who, let's say, have an education in something, and they don't pay them properly for people that have that education. So one of the biggest things like that I experienced with Disney is, I went and got my degree in a culinary school, and I went back. This was my second time working at Disneyland, and they require that if you're going to be a cook at Disneyland, and you're hiring in for the first time, that is, if you're hiring in for the first time as a cook at Disneyland, you have to have some kind of culinary school training or a lot of experience in kitchens. But they do not pay more for that position. They pay you the same as they would pay someone who doesn't have experience / an education. So that there's something hugely wrong. Oh my God, I just used a Trump word. There is something majorly wrong with that. So, next thing I'm going to say bigly. Anyway, so yeah, so that's basically what's going on, is like Disney. But you know what? The other thing too is that this isn't new. Disney has never paid their workers a proper wage. So, you know, like when I first hired in at Disney back in 2009, there was a hunger strike going on, and people were starving themselves waiting for Disney to pay them a higher wage, and Disney did not budge. So thankfully, those people ended up going to the hospital and getting fed with a tube, in order to get them back to health, because Disney was not going to pay them more. So in any case, why does this matter to you? Why does it matter to the Disney fans or whatever? Well, here's the thing. Cast members work really hard. Not just doing a job, which is what everyone else who has a job does, but they are cast members. They provide magic. They do things that other companies don't ask their employees to do. You know, they really provide that overall feel for you, and you know, giving you a smile and a welcome greeting and a true heartfelt emotions when they talk to you is something, a step, you know, above and beyond what other companies even ask their employees to do, you know. And so cast members really do a lot of work, and a lot of cast members are working jobs in Disney that are really meant for a higher pay, but once again, they don't get that higher pay. They get paid just the regular amount that Disney pays them. So the other reason why this applies to you as fans is, well, you fans, you know, we obviously all support Disney. We're all Disney fans. You know, some of us visit the parks as annual pass holders. Some of us just watch YouTube videos. Either way, we should be supporting Disney or I should say, we should be supporting Disney in the sense that they should be supporting their cast members in return. You know, as Disney fans, we have the power to influence what the company does. So, you know, if you are on the cast member side and you tell them, Disney, you need to pay your workers more, you know, just one voice is a whole lot, you know. And then imagine if all of us have that same voice, you know. So anyway, it's a way to support our cast members who work so hard to give us that Disney magic. And quite frankly, I love the company. I mean, I didn't have very many good experiences with it when it came to working, but I loved the company nevertheless. I devoted 6 years of my life to it. And so, you know, it's just really sad that even still Disney is not properly paying their workers. So that's all I had to say about that.
I did see in the news a couple months ago that Disney was going to raise the minimum wage to something like $15. I don't know where I saw that. It could have been like some of that fake news that everyone's talking about, but I do remember seeing something like that. I don't know if it's true, but yeah, I agree with what Alex said. Disney should be paying everybody more. Like he said, I was snooping around for apartments in the area around Disney, and rent is almost always over $1,500 for just a studio apartment. And if you do the math, $11 an hour doesn't really cover $1,500 a month for just a basic studio apartment. Although there are some places who charge a little less, but yeah. So I don't really have much else to say on that, just because I don't have any experience with any of this, but I do hope that Disney and all the workers do end up coming to some sort of compromise, even if it means raising their pay by a couple more dollars. It doesn't have to be anything drastic. And if you think about it, it's weird because Disney is literally the biggest media conglomerate, I guess would be the word, in the entire world. And they can only afford to pay their workers barely minimum wage. That doesn't really make any sense. But anyways, there's a lot of discussion going on in the chat. Feel free to use the chat for discussion like you guys are doing right now. But we're going to be moving on to our second topic, very exciting topic. Just because it's Marvel, I think it's exciting. There are many new rumors about the new upcoming Marvel land to DCA. And I just want to say, all of this information came straight from Jim Hill Media and my friend Orange Grove 55. If you don't know who those two are, Jim Hill does an amazing podcast, and Orange Grove 55 has an amazing YouTube channel. You guys should definitely check them out. Links will be in the description down below. But we talked about Marvel Land rumors a couple weeks ago, and I think these rumors almost contradict what the other rumors were saying. I'm not really sure if they're sort of like meant, or it's sort of like the same rumor altogether. But I'm treating these newest rumors as something completely different than what we talked about. I believe it was 2 weeks ago, with the sort of Avengers campus kind of thing with the microbrewery, all that stuff. I believe the rumor came from Disney. Gosh, I can't remember the name of the website. Really awesome website. If you go back to that episode, you'll see in the description. But like I said, very exciting stuff. I want to get right into this. First, before we mention any of the rumors, I do want to, a lot of people ask about this, a lot of people don't know about this rule, but Disney does have a contract in place with Universal regarding what characters they can use in their theme parks versus what characters they can't use in their theme parks. And Disney theme parks to the west of the Mississippi River cannot use the word Marvel in any of their Disney parks, any of their Disney branding when it comes to like attractions and stuff like that. That's why you see things like the superhero Summer of Heroes, I believe is what the theme was last year at California Adventure, while in Paris, I believe the theme was Marvel, I can't remember the name. It was like Marvel Heroes, something like that. So yeah, Disneyland and California Adventure cannot use the word Marvel in any of their theme parks. Some guy just asked Universal, what do they have to do with Marvel? Universal does have some of the rights to some of the theme park related rights to a lot of the Marvel characters. That's why you see things like the Hulk coaster, like Sam the Griff said, and I believe there's like a Doctor Doom sort of like drop thing I saw a while back. But when it comes to Florida, when it comes to the Florida Disney parks, they cannot use any of the Marvel. This doesn't really have anything to do with the rumors, but I figured might as well explain it right now. When it comes to the Florida parks, Magic Kingdom and all that, Disney cannot use any of the other Marvel characters that are already in use at any other Universal theme parks. That's why currently we're seeing attractions like Guardians of the Galaxy and not sort of big attractions that have to do with like Spider-Man or Captain America or Iron Man or anything like that in the Florida parks. So, gosh, that was a really... I am out of breath after saying all of that. Holy cow. Anyways, moving on from that, just wanted to address that because a lot of people don't know that this sort of contract or rule exists when it comes to that. But the rumors I should say currently, is that Jim Hill, all of these come from a tweet, a couple of tweets actually from Jim Hill. He says that the upcoming Marvel Land in California Adventure will have to be just as big in scale and immersion as Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. So Sam said Hank Hill, not Hank Hill, Mark or Jim Hill. I almost got them confused, but yeah, so Marvel Land will have to be just as big in scale and immersion as Galaxy's Edge. So if you think about it, Marvel, when it comes to this first sentence, Marvel Land is going to be a big event, really, just like Star Wars Land is going to be. At first, I thought Marvel Land was going to be sort of just like a reskin, new paint job kind of thing, just like they did with Pixar Pier. They didn't really add any new attractions per se. They just reskinned a bunch of old things. But from what Jim Hill is saying, when it comes to these rumors, everyone's saying, what is the name of that show? Bobby Hill, Hank Hill. I can't remember the name.
King of the Hill.
King of the Hill. That's it. That's a really great show if you guys haven't seen it. But yeah, so like I said, originally I thought the Marvel Land was going to be just a reskin or just like a new paint job kind of thing. But this kind of thing, what Jim Hill is saying, makes me think that it will be almost a complete demolition of the entirety of almost all of Hollywood Land and A Bug's Land, and they're gonna like sort of rebuild everything from the ground up to make the Marvel Land the most immersive land since Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And Jim Hill also says that everything in Hollywood Land is in play to be removed for the new Marvel Land, even the Hyperion Theater, which has 1,984 seats, if you guys didn't know that. So that's kind of mind-blowing to think, if this rumor is true, the Hyperion Theater, man, if this does end up being true, I will miss the Hyperion Theater, even though I'm not a big fan of Frozen. I'm sure the new Frozen musical show is great. Probably not as great as the Aladdin show, but it's almost crazy to think that Disney would be willing to get rid of the Hyperion Theater just because it sits so many people. Like I said, it has 1,984 seats. I don't know why I wrote that down in my notes, but yeah, so it's kind of like a big magnet that sucks in a lot of guests, gives them something to do for, I believe the shows last like an hour and a half to 2 hours. But yeah, just repeating what I said, everything says says Jim Hill. Gosh, you guys got me saying Mark Hill now. Oh my gosh. Everything Jim Hill. Okay, I'm just gonna restart that sentence. Jim Hill said everything in Hollywoodland is in play to be removed for the new Marvel Land. Even the animation studio, all of that, like I said, the Hyperion Theater, like I said, very crazy. And Bob Chapek apparently wants that side of DCA to become, for Marvel, what Disneyland's Galaxy's Edge will be. And that Disney sees Marvel Land as an equivalent to Galaxy's Edge. That is, gosh, like I said, that is really crazy to think. If these rumors end up being true, hopefully it won't be just another paint job reskin of Hollywoodland, because Alex and I have said before, Hollywoodland is by far the worst land in California Adventure. It's just so lame. I mean, I love the puns, but everything else about it is just so lame. Besides, of course, the Hyperion Theater, which they might end up getting rid of, so that's very sad. But
which
right off
I
the
heard
bat,
seats 1,950.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many of you guys knew that the Hyperion Theater sat 1,984 people, but now you guys know that the Hyperion Theater seats that many people. But right off the bat, Alex, based on these couple rumors that I flew your guys' way, what are your thoughts on everything? And of course, we're going to be getting into the rest of the rumors right after this. But Alex, what are your thoughts so far?
It's kind of exciting. Okay. I don't really like the Marvel stuff. I'm not really much of a superhero person. And I probably won't really step foot in Marvel Land. Well, actually, I can't say that. Now that I'm doing Adventureland, I'll probably step foot in Marvel Land. But here's what I have to say about it, which is, if it's going to be true that they're going to get rid of a lot of stuff in Hollywoodland to make way for a much larger Marvel Land, this is actually kind of exciting, because Hollywoodland has been stale for so long, and it's pointless. It's pointless having it. So, it's exciting to think that they might get rid of all of that, all those buildings, and construct something new out of it. And honestly, DCA needs more e-ticket attractions. I mean, it needs more reason for people to go there. At least with a large immersive Marvel Land, it'll definitely finally be that Disney park that people actually want to spend their whole day in. So, that's how I see it, at least. So that is exciting for me in that sense. So, while I'm not much of a Marvel fan, it is exciting to think that finally DCA will be a complete theme park. It'll stand on its own with this huge Marvel Land if they open it this way.
Yeah, I completely agree. This is kind of the same thing of what they're doing to Hollywood Studios in Florida, making that sort of a full day park, because before any of the new lands were added, of course Galaxy's Edge isn't open yet, but before Toy Story Land, all that stuff was added, Hollywood Studios wasn't really a full day park. When I went there a couple years ago, we only spent a couple hours in the park just to ride Tower of Terror. But yeah, this does give me a lot of hope and excitement for DCA. But it also, again, begs the question, what does Disney think the word California means? Because I don't think they think it means the state California. There might be another meaning to the word California, but whatever whatever meaning Disney thinks it means. Yeah, hopefully they end up changing the name to that eventually, but we'll see about that.
You know what that reminded me of when you said that? That reminded me of the movie The Princess Bride, where what's his name, the Hispanic guy?
Inigo Montoya.
The bald guy. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because the bald guy is like, oh, unthinkable or something.
Inconceivable.
Inconceivable. And so the guy's like, you know, that word, I don't think it means what you think it means.
Yeah. Oh, that was a really great movie. If you guys have not seen The Princess Bride, it is one of my top 10 movies of all time. But thank you for reminding me of that. I haven't thought of that movie in a while. But moving on from this sort of stuff, I don't know if you guys remember, a couple months ago, there was a patent filed for a new kind of ride system by Disney that is meant to simulate swinging on vines or like swinging from webs. Wink, wink, Spider-Man. But yeah, a few months ago, this patent surfaced. If I can go to the next slide, there we go. And I accidentally. Oh, it's fine. Now, Jim Hill also said this new Spider-Man attraction is, quote, just the beginning of a celebration of superheroes that's supposed to be up and running well ahead of Disneyland's 70th anniversary. So this is coming very, very soon, within the next 10 years, actually. New Marvel Land, all that junk. And Disney is also rumored to level the entirety of A Bug's Land in preparation for the new Spider-Man ride, which is very awesome. I was never really a fan of A Bug's Land. I think we talked about this when we first announced that Bug's Land was closing for Marvel Land. I'm very excited. Spider-Man is my favorite Marvel character. Very excited to see him get his own ride, his own proper ride in a Disney theme park. And with these new patents, I feel like this ride can really be like the e-ticket that Disney wants it to be. I will probably ride it 10,000 times when it first opens, but yeah, so there's that. And there are also rumors that the Ant-Man and the Wasp attraction from Hong Kong and the new Iron Man experience will be coming to the new Marvel Land in California. So I want to...
Oh, can I explain this part?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so like he said, that, you know, the Ant-Man and the what's the other one?
The Wasp.
And the Wasp. I'm not much of a Marvel fan. Okay, that it might be coming to California Adventure. And so one of the thoughts behind this is that they might be using an Omnimover ride system, which they believe they're going to take from the Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters ride in Tomorrowland. So they believe that this ride, that it will recycle the little vehicles and stuff, and so it will clear out space in that building in Tomorrowland. And what was the other one?
The Iron Man experience.
I
want you guys to compare.
Experience.
Sorry, Alex, I just interrupted you. But I want you guys to compare these two images to, if it'll switch, to these two images. Now, Alex, why don't you go ahead and continue explaining what the Iron Man experience is so our listeners will know why they should be comparing these couple images to each other.
Well, I can't see the other images just yet. But I imagine, though, that the Iron Man experience, what it basically is, there's the image. What it basically is that you are inside of a simulator, a motion simulator. And so basically this whole adventure with Iron Man takes place inside this motion simulator. And so what we happen to know is that pretty soon, with the opening of Star Wars Land, there's going to be 4 motion simulators in Disneyland, for instance, that will have nowhere to go afterward. So some people think that if they bring this Iron Man experience to DCA, we might see them moving the Star Tours motion simulators over to DCA. And so for me, the coolest thing about hearing this news is that it means that they would be emptying out the Star Tours building and the Buzz Lightyear building, which could lead to a refurbishment of Tomorrowland soon after the construction begins on Marvel Land. So that's all just rumors, but that to me is exciting news.
Yeah, so if you guys couldn't tell, these two images are rumored to be the exact same attractions, like Alex said. Of course, you all know Star Tours is a motion simulator attraction. Buzz Lightyear Astro Blaster is an Omnimover attraction, where of course you shoot little lasers at the targets to get points and everything. But the Iron Man experience, like Alex mentioned, is also a simulator attraction, very similar to Star Tours. And the Ant-Man and the Wasp attraction is an Omnimover system where you shoot little lasers at bugs to explode them. And I believe even in Hong Kong, the Ant-Man and the Wasp attraction is taking over Hong Kong's version of Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters. So, like Alex said, this is the most interesting part of the rumors to me. It is very likely that Disney will end up moving the simulators from Star Tours to this new attraction, moving all of the things from Astro Blasters to the new Ant-Man and the Wasp attraction. And like Alex mentioned, that will leave 2 new buildings open for new attractions in Tomorrowland. This is, like I said, this is the most interesting part of the rumor for me. Even though I love Marvel, I love me some new Tomorrowland attraction, some consistent theming in Tomorrowland. So, yeah, that's basically all of the rumors that Jim Hill Media gave to all of us, and Orange Grove 55 helped consolidate all of this into a concise video that he made. If you guys want to watch that, link will be in the description. C-3PO's Iron Man confirmed. You guys are killing it with the jokes today. You guys had me dab earlier. I can't believe I did that on stream. But anyways, all of these rumors make me very excited about the new Marvel Land coming. Not just because I love Marvel, but because, like I said, I love Tomorrowland. I really want Tomorrowland to be refurbished. I'm sure everybody does. We want Tomorrowland to have new attractions, new experiences, a better theme than the mishmash of the 1998 version with the 1967 version. All of the colors are just ugly, except for the blue ones. And of course, Space Mountain is amazing. Space Mountain, please never leave us. But yeah, anyways, what are your thoughts on... I think Alex already gave his thoughts on everything, didn't he? Well, Alex, yeah. If you have any closing things you'd like to say about any of these rumors, now would be the time to say them.
Well, actually, Sam the Griff just said, Matt, you have quite the amount of people in your waiting room. And I went and checked, and we have a lot of people who want to talk.
There are 7 people in the waiting rooms currently. Sam, for some reason, had everybody join him in protest because we don't use the waiting rooms anymore. It's been a long time since we've used the waiting rooms. So I guess now would be as good a time as any time to bring in one of our viewers from the waiting rooms to give their thoughts on these new Marvel Land rumors. Now, it's funny because Sam doesn't have a mic that works with Discord, so I can't move him. I don't know who to move. I don't know if any of these people actually have mics that work. So this was really the main problem with the waiting rooms. Bryce is asking what a waiting room is. If you guys don't know what our waiting rooms are, they were used a long time ago on stream. They are a voice channel in my Discord server where basically we'd have a couple people join in the waiting rooms, and while we finished talking about what topics we're talking about, we'd move one of the viewers from the waiting room to our recording channel, and they'd sort of give their thoughts on the topics that we talked about. Unfortunately, we stopped doing that because not a lot of people were in the waiting rooms to begin with, and not a lot of people who were in the waiting rooms had microphones that worked. So yeah. Well, I've been thinking about bringing the waiting rooms back. If you guys who join the waiting rooms have mics, we will definitely be moving you into our recording channel to give you your thoughts on everything. I know Jeremy has a mic, so let's go ahead and move him into our channel and see what he has to say. Although they are all muted, everyone in the waiting room is muted, so let's see how this works. Hello, Jeremy. What are your thoughts on all of these Marvel Land rumors? If you have a working microphone, we'll see. I think a lot of these people joined the waiting room and then just left their Discord unattended to, so they probably don't know that we moved them. So I guess Jeremy isn't ready to talk right now. We'll move one more person.
Fusion says he's ready.
Fusion says he's ready. All right. My microphone, wait. Oh, he said don't invite me yet. And then he said, oh, wait. Okay. Fusion just left. So yeah, this was the main reason.
This is terrible.
Yeah, this was the main reason why we stopped using the waiting. Jeremy is unmuted. We will move Jeremy now. Hello, Jeremy. He's unmuted, but I can't hear anything coming out of his microphone.
You there, Jeremy? Can you save this podcast?
We'll give him a couple more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Oh, wait. I heard something from his mic. Oh, wait. I'm hearing buzzes from his mic. Oh, he said in chat he can't save us.
Oh, hello.
Oh, there we go. Now it's working. Hello, Jeremy.
Hi, Jeremy.
Oh, there it goes. It stopped working again. Oh my goodness. I'm sure Jeremy had something amazing to say about the whole Marvel Land rumors.
Well, folks, looks like we're all out of time.
Oh my goodness. Fusion said he's ready. Let's move Fusion in one last time. Fusion, hello.
Hello.
Oh wow, what an amazing mic.
Yeah, it's pretty horrible.
No, don't worry about it, Fusion. But let's see. What are your thoughts on all of the Marvel Land rumors that we talked about?
Well, I hope they're true, and I hope we get something good, like a really good ride, like a Black Panther ride. Like something like related to the Tron ride at Shanghai Disneyland, but put like in their own version of Black Panther.
Ah, that'd be interesting.
Oh, hey, that'd actually be a really good idea. No, yeah, that would actually be a really great idea because of that train. I think he means because of that the train sequence that happens at the end of Black Panther. I guess they sort of almost match the same aesthetic as Black Panther and Tron. But thank you, Fusion, for giving us your thoughts on the recent Marvel Land rumors.
All right, see you.
Oh my goodness. Well, we got one. Thank you, Fusion, for joining in. I think that's gonna wrap up these topics that we talked about. Oh gosh, that was a very interesting experience. Now you guys know why we don't use the waiting rooms.
I feel kind of bad because I was like hinting that you should use the waiting room right now, and then it's like totally went south.
Well, I'm sure it gave all the people listening something funny to listen to, something to laugh at. But anyways, moving on to, oh god, I can't remember again. I think it's the Ghost Stories and then Words with Walt. Yes, it is the Ghost Stories and then Words with Walt. Alex, do you happen to have any new ghost stories you can tell us? Any spooky stories this week?
Oh. No. I'm sorry. I gave all of my stories out, so I don't have any others.
Oh, all of them. Oh well, that's okay. Well, Bryce just happened to send me another ghost story from last week. Spookums Part 2 Electric Boogaloo, he says, in the subject of the email he sent me. So, I'm gonna shut the light off. We're gonna get spooky up in here because it was Friday the 13th yesterday. Well, I guess a couple days ago it was Friday the 13th. And by the way, if you guys have ghost stories you'd like to send in, you can type them in chat, comment them down below, send them to me on Discord, tweet them to me. You can email them to me like Bryce did. My email is ytmatterhornmat@gmail.com. Or is it matterhornmatyt@gmail.com?
You can also send them via homing pigeon.
Or smoke signals if you prefer that mode of communication. My email is ytmatterhornmat@gmail.com. So if you guys want to email me them, you can definitely do that. Or like I said, send them to me on the Discord channel. You can message them directly to me. Avery said he has a go. Oh my gosh, I always end up misgendering people in the chat. Avery actually just sent me a ghost story, so we'll read Bryce's and then we'll get to Avery's. So let me move this to this monitor so I can read it better. All right, this is from Bryce, Spookums Part 2, Electric Boogaloo. Let's get started. When I visited San Diego when I was around 7, my family ate at the Hotel del Coronado for dinner. It was a quick dinner as we couldn't afford much there, so it was just around sunset. My mother had a bit to drink and had to go to the bathroom, so me and my father went to wait. Soon I lost track of my dad and wandered around to find him. I'd wandered near some of the shops, but they were all closed up for the night, and not a single person was around. I started panicking. That's when I saw a lady. She was in an old fancy dress like the ones I'd seen in paintings and museums. She then moved toward me, not making a single noise or motion. Once she was a foot away from me, she looked down at me and glared. When she did, I felt a cold chill run through my body. It took a moment to get my bearings, and I ran all the way back until I came to my dad. He picked me up from where I fell and said, "What happened to you? Where did you run off to?" I said, "I lost you, so I looked for you." But before I could finish, my dad replied, "I sat down right there the whole time," and pointed to a bench very close by. Before I could say anything, my mother returned, and we had to rush back to our room at I cannot pronounce this hotel. La Pinecone. It's definitely not La Pinecone. I do not know how to pronounce this. I'm sorry, Bryce.
You're ruining the story.
I only found out it was haunted after our visit and after the lady. Thank you, Bryce, for sending in. That one actually gave me chills, actually, because I visited the Hotel del Coronado. Didn't see any ghosts. I wish I would have seen ghosts. But yeah, how do you pronounce that, Bryce? He's typed it in chat. La
Pension.
La Pension. Definitely not Pinecone, that's for sure. I don't know how I thought Pinecone.
Are you dyslexic?
I might be, because I thought it said Pinecone. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Bryce, for sending in your amazing ghost story. That was an actual really creepy one. Got chills down my spine. I always look behind me after I read something spooky to make sure there's no ghost behind me. There never is a ghost behind me, so that's good. Anyways, moving on to Avery's ghost story. This one's a bit longer. One Friday afternoon, my family and I were visiting the haunted mansion. We were waiting in line to get in the doom buggies. There were 3 cast members working the loading. There was a female behind the controls, a male cast member at the ride entrance, and a male walking on the moving walkway. I had a side view of the walking cast member. He was a young man with light brown or dark blonde hair. He was looking at a small piece of paper, a little bit bigger than a business card. They had stopped loading the ride for a few seconds because a couple of the Doom buggies were occupied with visitors. During that interim, the walking cast member all of a sudden reached down as if to pick something up and never came back up. When I walked through the entrance, I looked down at the side of the ride and did not see the cast member. When my husband and I were loaded into the Doom buggy, I asked him what he thought the cast member was picking up. He said, "No one was picking up anything." Then I went through my story and he told me there wasn't another male loading guests. Then I asked my daughter and her friend, and she said there was only the female cast member and the male cast member. Did I see a ghost? Thank you, Avery. That's another spooky one. You guys are full of spooky stories. Thank you all for sending these in. Gosh, I would pee my pants if any of these happened to me, like on the spot.
You know what we should do on Friday is we should bring a Ouija board to the Disneyland Hotel on our...
Oh my gosh, that would actually be a really good idea. I need to buy a Ouija board right away. What if we did?
Maybe we'll talk to Captain Howdy.
Wait, who is Captain Howdy?
Oh, come on.
I don't know who Captain Howdy is.
He's the evil spirit that inhabits the girl in the movie The Exorcist.
Oh, it's been so long since I've seen The Exorcist. I thought the name of the demon was... Well, I've seen the second one. In the second one, the name of the demon was Pazuzu or something like that. That's the only thing I remember from the second movie. I thought Captain Howdy, I thought that was a spooky man that haunts the Disneyland Hotel. Dang it. I thought you had another story for us. But actually I do. I do have a story for you. Oh, perfect. Please do tell.
Okay. So my dad works at the Disneyland Hotel. He's worked there since 2004, and I pretty much grew up at the Disneyland Hotel, just always going there and being with my dad while he's working or whatever, even though he wasn't allowed to have family over. Anyway, and so basically, I think there's been a few experiences. Like, I found out like one of the restrooms was haunted. There's a restroom that is in the basement of the Fantasy Tower, and it's open to everybody. You know, it's just a normal guest restroom, but late at night, it'll be haunted by someone that's in there. So I remember one time, like, I really had to use the restroom, and I went downstairs into the men's restroom, and I heard like someone else in there peeing. So I was just like, okay, whatever, I'm just gonna get in and get out or whatever. And there, it was kind of weird because like I was in there for a little while and I thought, like, that's weird, this person hasn't come out of the stall or anything, like, you know, and I didn't think much of it. But then when I turned around after I was done using the restroom, I turned around and I noticed all the stalls have open doors and like nobody was in them. And I was like, I was pretty freaked out, and so I washed my hands and like I left. But as I left the door, like I felt like this like I walked through this like cold patch of air. It was really weird. And it's just funny, and that's it when it comes to that experience. But like it was weird because I didn't remember this up until right now. But but I remember going to my dad and I was like, wow, I was like, that was really weird. And I told my dad what happened, and he goes, oh yeah, that bathroom's haunted. And I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah. He goes, like, as long as I've been here, it's been haunted, you know? And he says, like, people think that there's someone in the bathroom with them, but then it turns out to be nothing. He said, you're not the first person to come to me and tell me about this or whatever. So I was like, that's weird. But I got an even better story for you.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Well, right before you say that, I just want to say, seeing a ghost in the bathroom has to be one of the worst places in the entire world where you
I
see
know,
a
because you're
ghost.
totally exposed and you're not safe.
Yeah, sitting in the stall, just doing your business, and then, oh my gosh, you hear a ghost come in right next to you.
But the plus side is that you have nothing to pee your pants with afterwards. So
That's true. That's true. Oh my goodness. What has this episode turned into?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so the other story is really weird. So my dad, he's told me several ghost stories over the years, but this one I remember like very vividly because it was just so creepy. So he tells me that that a coworker of his, I think he was like one of the bellboys or something like that. He was an older man and he went home sick, or and so he was gone for a couple days. But then one day when my dad was working early in the morning, this is early in the morning, like before dawn, and my dad was walking underneath the underground tunnel, because there's a underground Castleberry tunnel that leads underneath the hotel, and you can get to like any one of the three towers from there. And he was walking down this tunnel and there's nobody down there, but then he rounds a corner and he sees someone walking away from him, and he realizes that that's his coworker. He's like, oh, let's just say his name is like Jose. And he's like, oh, like that's Jose, I haven't seen him in a couple days. And so my dad was like shouting at him like, hey, like, Jose, come over here, and he wasn't listening. He just kept walking. And so my dad was like, Jose, come on. It's me, Joe. And he didn't. And so Jose rounded the corner. And when my dad rounded that same corner, he was gone. And Dad's like, that's really weird. So anyway, he was at work. And so on one of his breaks, my dad went out into the back side of the front desk, and he was telling his coworkers, he's like, oh, I saw Jose this morning, but I don't see him out front right now. And he's like, has anyone seen him? And my dad's coworkers were like, Joe, don't you know what happened to him? He died. And my dad was like, what? And they're like, yeah, he got really sick or something, and he had some kind of anemia or something, and I think he died of he got sick, but he died of a cardiac arrest.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, what? When? And my dad's like, when did this happen? And they said, oh, it's really weird. He died this morning. And my dad was like, what? And so my dad was like, well, does anyone know what time? They're like, oh yeah, like we found out that he died around like 5 o'clock this morning. My dad's like, that's when I saw him. Yeah. So it was really weird. And oh my God. So my dad felt really creeped out, like, that he saw his friend Jose, or what, I don't know what his friend is, but he saw his coworker, and it was like really weird because his coworker had died of cardiac arrest that morning. And I remember my dad told me that story, and I was just like, whoa, that is creepy.
That has to be one of the creepiest stories you've told on this podcast. Holy cow. Like, the other ones weren't as bad with and the Golden Horseshoe, but this one, for some reason, is one of the spookiest ones you've said. Thank you, Alex, for sharing these couple of stories. Fusion's asking for more ghost stories. We will be doing more next week. Be sure to send in any ghost stories you have. Like I said, you can send them to me on Twitter, send them to me through email, send them to me on the Discord. You can email them to Alex too, I'm sure. Alex, I think you have an email for people to email things too, right?
Yeah. My email is disneylandhistorytoday@gmail.com. No spaces.
And mine is ytmatterhornmat@gmail.com. If any of you guys want to ask or send in some ghost stories, or even just ask questions that you have about my channel, about Disney related stuff, you can email me, or like I said, any of the other various social medias you have. I had Google Earth open, ready to compare some of the Marvel Land stuff. I completely forgot. That's okay. Anyways, moving on to, some guy said, what's your Discord? I believe it's in the description. It's not in the description currently. It will be in the oh, Sam's got you covered, or some guy. Thank you, Sam. It should be in the description, but it will be in the description when this episode goes live. But moving on to our final segment, Words with Walt. Today was Alex's turn to pick a quote. Let's go ahead and read that quote. Quote. I just said quote. A lot of times. All right. Quote. This episode is slowly unraveling. All right, here we go for real. Quote, I don't want the public to see the world they live in while they're in the park. I want them to feel they're in another world. Unquote. Alex, please tell us why you picked this amazing quote to discuss today.
I chose this quote because it shows how important it was for Walt Disney to make people feel that they're really leaving their world behind when they entered Disneyland. Walt Disney knew that Disneyland was the perfect place for families to go to get away from their troubles, to get away from things that are happening at home or in their business lives. And so he wanted Disneyland to really feel like you are entering this magical realm. And so, you know, as we all know, one of the things that he did to ensure that people couldn't see the world outside Disneyland from inside Disneyland was he surrounded the park by a large berm that in some areas is up to 30 feet in the air. It's a pretty large berm. And basically it's nearly impossible for you to see anything that is outside Disneyland. Unless you're Guardians of the Galaxy Tower. But, you know, and I thought that was just so cool was that, you know, was that it was all about the immersiveness for Walt Disney. It was all about the quality of the park. I mean, how would you feel, you know, if you were, you know, in Fantasyland and you saw this, you know, this big, like, you know, Hyatt hotel or something on the outside of the park, or, you know, or you saw, like, you know, nearby office buildings from inside Fantasyland. It would feel terrible, you know. It'd feel like you, like, you know, like a total break of character for Disneyland, you know. So, yeah, so that's why I chose it.
Sort of flip-flopping that. This quote really only applies to Disneyland and somewhat the Magic Kingdom. Not DCA, because like Alex said, you can see the Mission Breakout from Main Street, from certain parts of Disneyland, and from inside DCA when you're on California's, that's not the right word, when you're on the Incredicoaster, you can see the Anaheim Convention Center out in the distance. You can see all the streets down below that California Adventure borders. So that's not, yeah, this quote doesn't really have anything to do with California Adventure per se, but yeah, this is, I didn't know this quote existed until a couple hours ago when Alex sent it to me, but this is a really amazing quote. If you think about it, when Disneyland first opened, the berm wasn't really as tall as it is today. Of course, from inside the parks, I'm sure you'd be able to see all the surrounding buildings. I mean, I guess there weren't that many surrounding buildings to see, but if it was that short today, it wouldn't be able to pass for all the isolation that Disney wants to have. But yeah, this is a really awesome quote because I really do appreciate the fact that Disneyland keeps this going with the consistent theming and all that stuff. Although, as my friend Offhand Disney says, you can see a castle from a turn of the century Main Street, which is not really thematically consistent, but that's okay. Disney is sort of taking this to the next step with all the new lands they're building with Star Wars Land, I guess Toy Story Land, with Pandora even. They're taking that sort of feeling, I want them to feel they're in another world, that whole thing, taking that to the next level with all the immersion they're doing. Very excited to see how that pans out in Star Wars Land. But yeah, thank you, Alex, for choosing this amazing quote. Yeah.
No problem.
Let's see. Any closing thoughts on anything we discussed today?
No. No, I think I've said it all.
Alrighty, I don't think I have anything either. I think at one point we had 13 people viewing, so thank you all so much for being here. Oh.
I do have one thing to say about this quote.
Okay.
Okay, so it's funny that, okay, back in like 1955 and through the 60s and 70s, the way that Disney ensured that sight lines and things like that didn't interfere with other sight lines was they literally had to go and stand where they were going to build something and then look back at other places. So like, for instance, when they were building the Matterhorn, they went all across the park standing in different areas to see where, they might see the top of the Matterhorn. So they used little measuring tools and things like that, where they could like use an angle measure to see where the top of the Matterhorn would be from where they were standing in the park. That way they could see, will it be in the way? Will people see it from areas they're not supposed to see it? And so how they solved this was like, for instance, when you're in Frontierland, if you were all the way by, let's say, New Orleans Square, and you looked over towards the Matterhorn, normally you would see the Matterhorn from that area because it's so tall. But Imagineers, their job back then was to make sure that you didn't see things that you weren't supposed to see from certain areas. So what they did was they planted this massive pine tree over by the entrance of Frontierland to block out any views of the Matterhorn from anywhere in New Orleans Square or Frontierland. And to this day, that pine tree is still there. And it's huge. And it blocks out the view of the Matterhorn from this area. So that's how Disney used to do things. Now today, they do everything three-dimensionally on computer. They map out the whole land that they're building on a computer, and then they get in this room that acts like a huge three-dimensional hologram, and they can three-dimensionally, or I should say, in virtual reality, they could walk through the new land that they're building and see if anything is out of place. That being said, California Adventure is like where they totally dropped off on their quality, because you can see things in every land of California Adventure that don't make sense from one land to another. So it's just amazing to think that way back when they could hide the map from New Orleans Square. But they can't, but they can't hide things like Guardians of the Galaxy or even Cars Land from other parts of the park that need to be hidden. It's just amazing.
I mean, you think it wouldn't be that hard, but I'm sure Disney has their reasons for not wanting to do that. It's probably money. They don't want to spend all the money on redoing all of that, try and blocking the view from all of these other places of the park. But anyways, thank you, Alex, for sharing this amazing quote. Next week it'll be my turn to pick a quote, and I'm sure it'll be another cliche Disney quote, but cliche quotes are my favorite quotes. That's not true. I do enjoy cliche quotes. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Anyways, thank you all for watching this episode of Matterhorn Mondays. We hope you all enjoyed, and we want to hear your thoughts on everything we discussed today, whether it be Disney's wages that they pay their employees, or whether it be the new Marvel Land rumors. Yeah, also we want to hear your thoughts on the quote. You can follow Alex and I on Twitter. Links will be in the description, of course, to my Patreon as well, and the Discord server, and all of the articles that we got this information from as well will be in the description. I think that's gonna wrap it up. I feel like I'm forgetting something. I'm not sure what I could be forgetting. Nope, I think that's it. Oh, I hope the stream wasn't as laggy today. I did get new internet, so it didn't say that I went in the red or anything. It stayed green the whole time, so hopefully the quality of the stream was up compared to all of the previous streams. I know Sam in particular has shown his distaste for the 144p quality that my previous internet gave. But if it can work for Fortnite, then it can surely work for this podcast. So yeah, hopefully you guys can see, hopefully you guys have seen improvements with the quality of the stream. But yeah, anyways, we hope you all enjoyed, and as always, have a great big beautiful tomorrow.